Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into Hangzhou's tech scene.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. We're looking at this blog post about a recent study trip focusing on two companies that are really pushing boundaries. Tongdun Holdings and Yowant. So get ready to learn how Chinese companies are tackling risk management and revolutionizing customer engagement.
I'm excited to learn more about this because we always hear about Silicon Valley, but, this deep dive reminds us that innovation can happen anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And Hangzhou has become this hub for tech advancement.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Okay.
First up is Tongdun Holdings. They specialize in intelligent risk control and decision-making, helping businesses, navigate that whole tricky world of risk assessment. They do it using big data and AI. They actually have over 10,000 clients globally.
Wow, that's impressive. It really speaks to the fact that they've found something that works across different industries and different locations.
Yeah.
And something that's really interesting is how their credit scoring models are different from, what we're used to in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine a credit score that considers not just your financial history, but like your online behavior and even social interactions.
Right.
That's what Tongdun is doing. They're integrating social credit data into their models.
That's a bold move, and it really makes you wonder, does that give a more accurate picture of an individual, or does it kind of cross a line?
Yeah, it's a debate for sure as these types of models are becoming more common.
Right.
And it's not just credit scoring either. All their risk scoring models are really interesting.
Yeah.
They're using data like user behavior, device characteristics, geolocation, all in real time to stop fraud.
So they're catching it before it even happens.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much data they're dealing with. I mean, think about how much is generated every second.
Right, it's mind-boggling.
And they're able to take all that data and turn it into useful information.
It really makes you wonder how they managed to stay ahead of the curve, because this is a very dynamic field.
Well, the blog post mentioned that they're very agile. They actually do bi-weekly iterations to adapt and improve quickly.
Oh, wow. So they're constantly evolving.
Yeah, it's very different from the traditional way of doing things.
Right. So they're almost like tech ninjas, always adapting, staying one step ahead. The author also made an interesting observation about the difference in business culture between B2B and B2C companies.
Oh, yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
Tongdun, being a B2B company, they have to build strong relationships with government and financial institutions.
Right.
It's a much more formal environment compared to those fast-paced B2C companies.
Yeah, it's like comparing, a ballet to a hip-hop dance-off. Each one has its own style, right?
Exactly. And knowing those cultural differences is super important for any business to succeed.
Absolutely.
Tongdun clearly knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So Tongdun is doing amazing things when it comes to risk management. But their story is more than just tech. Right.
They're adaptable, they build relationships, they understand the business world.
They've created a model that seems to be working globally, and that makes me wonder what other innovations are happening in Hangzhou and, beyond.
Well, that's a great question. And speaking of innovation, let's move on to the second company featured in this deep dive, Yaowang.
Okay. So Yaowang is really shaking things up in the retail world.
Okay.
They're like at the forefront of social e-commerce, connecting brands with these...
The e-commerce?
Yeah. So they connect brands with key opinion leaders. They call them KOLs and celebrities.
KOLs. Okay, break that down for me. What is that?
So basically a KOL is a super influential person in a certain niche or industry, like they have a huge online following.
So like the trendsetters.
Yeah, exactly. The tastemakers of the digital world, right?
Okay.
And Yowant has built their whole business around these KOLs. They've got this 247 live streaming ecosystem where they're promoting products.
Well, like QVC, but on steroids.
Yeah. They're using social media. Yeah, I could see how that would be really effective.
It's a really clever way to use influencer marketing, right? To connect brands directly with customers.
Yeah.
It's like shopping, entertainment, and community building all at once.
It's interesting. And they've taken this concept even further, right? Did they build like a whole theme park dedicated to this?
They did. They have this amazing space called the Yowant X27 theme park in Hangzhou.
Okay.
It's this 24/7 consumer complex. Influencers can live stream there. Visitors can check out different brands.
So like a shopping mall, but also a live streaming studio.
Exactly. And it's really beautifully designed, too.
What kind of brands are we talking about here? Like what kind of stuff are they selling?
It's a real mix. International brands, domestic brands, lots of different interests.
Okay.
But what's really fascinating is how they're merging the online and offline world.
Yeah.
So imagine you're watching your favorite influencer trying on clothes, testing out gadgets, or even cooking, all using products from the brands in this park. And you can buy those things right there through the live stream.
Oh, I see. So you get that convenience of online shopping, but you get to experience the products, see the influencer.
Exactly. It's like teleporting that online shopping experience into a physical space.
That's really interesting. But it can't all be perfect, right? I mean, there must be challenges. What does the blog say about, the downsides?
Yeah, that's a good point. So one of the things the blog talks about is this challenge of balancing online convenience with that desire for in-person experiences.
Okay.
It turns out the X27 theme park, even though it's such a cool concept, it had really low foot traffic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, it seems like the location is kind of remote, not easy to get to.
Yeah, right. So no matter how good your idea is, location still matters.
It does. You have to make it easy for people to visit. It's like if you had the best restaurant in the world, but it was hidden away in a tiny village.
Yeah, people might hear about it, but they're not going to make the journey. So how can they overcome that then? How do you get people to go to this theme park if it's not easy to get to?
That's a really good question. And the blog didn't have specific answers, but it did point to a broader trend. Like, businesses need to create experiences that are more than just browsing and buying, right?
Right.
Consumers want something special, something unique, something memorable.
Yeah, I think they call that retailtainment.
Yeah.
Like combining retail with entertainment.
Exactly.
So Yaowang can't just focus on selling stuff. They need to create an atmosphere people want to be a part of.
Yeah. They need to build a community around their brand, online and offline.
Right. And live streaming can play a big part in that, right?
Yeah.
Like they could host live events, workshops, even just behind-the-scenes stuff you can't get online.
Exactly. That's the key, right? Give people something they can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. So it's not just about buying. It's about being part of the community.
Exactly. But is that enough to overcome the location issue? I don't know.
Right. That's a tough one.
It is. But the blog author had another interesting thought. What if they used live streaming for something like furniture assembly?
Wait, furniture assembly?
Yeah.
Like watching somebody put together a bookcase?
Yeah. It sounds strange.
Would people actually want to watch that?
Maybe. But think about it. Even boring tasks can become engaging if you add live streaming.
Okay, yeah.
Imagine watching a KOL put together a piece of furniture, explaining every step, answering questions.
Oh, well, like a personal assembly assistant.
Exactly. And it could make furniture assembly so much less frustrating.
Especially for someone like me who is not handy at all.
Right. It could be really helpful. And who knows, maybe it could even be entertaining, like those DIY and crafting videos.
Yeah, I can see that.
So it's this clever way to add value and connect with customers.
Yeah, even for something as simple as putting together furniture.
Exactly. And that's what makes Yowant so innovative, right?
Yeah.
They're constantly testing the limits, trying new things, trying to find ways to connect with customers.
It's amazing. So we've looked at these two very different companies, both pushing boundaries. Tongdun is tackling risk management with all this high-tech stuff and a deep understanding of the business world.
Right.
And then Yowant is changing the whole retail experience using social media, live streaming. What are some of the big takeaways here? What can our listeners learn from all of this? Wow, what a journey. Tongdun using big data and AI to, fight fraud, and Yowant creating this whole new retail experience with social media and live streaming.
It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is. So what can our listeners take away from all this? How can they apply these ideas to their own lives or businesses?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is adaptability.
Okay.
Both Tongdun and Yowant, they're in these fast-paced environments, right?
Right.
They have to be able to change and adapt constantly to stay competitive.
Yeah, it's like they're riding a wave, always adjusting to stay on top. But how do you even learn to be that adaptable?
I think it starts with being open to new ideas. Willing to try new things, take some risks, and also building a culture that embraces change.
Right.
Like those bi-weekly iterations at Tongdun.
Yeah.
That shows they're not afraid to, constantly look at what they're doing and improve.
So it's not about getting it perfect the first time.
No, not at all.
It's about being willing to learn and grow and, keep getting better. What else stood out to you?
Another thing that was really interesting was their focus on talent.
Oh, yeah, the blog mentioned that.
Yeah, Tongdun was saying they struggle to find the right people, with the skills and the cultural fit and the language skills.
Right.
It shows how important it is to attract and keep good people.
It's not just about the technical skills, is it?
No, you need people who are curious, who are adaptable, who want to keep learning.
Yeah.
People who can work in a fast-paced environment and, really contribute to a culture of innovation.
And I think it's about building teams where everybody brings something different to the table.
Yeah.
Different experiences, different perspectives. That's where the best ideas come from.
And also creating a workplace where people feel valued, where they feel challenged and supported and able to do their best work.
I'm seeing a theme here. Adaptability, talent, growth mindset.
Yeah.
It's all about being ready for change and helping people thrive in this, constantly changing world. Any other takeaways from our Hangzhou trip?
Yeah, the last one I'd mention is customer focus.
Okay.
Both Tongdun and Yowant are really focused on understanding their customers and giving them what they need.
Right.
Tongdun is protecting businesses and consumers from fraud.
Yeah.
Yaowang is creating a retail experience that's, fun, engaging, and convenient.
It's a good reminder that at the end of the day, no matter how fancy your technology or your business model, it's all about delivering value to your customers.
That's so true. You can get caught up in all the hype, but if you're not giving your customer something they want, it doesn't matter.
So as we wrap up our deep dives into Hangzhou's tech and retail scene, the message is be adaptable, invest in your people, and never forget about the customer.
Those are good principles.
Yeah. And they're working in Hangzhou, and they can work for anyone, anywhere. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Hangzhou. Hopefully you've learned some things, gotten some inspiration, and are ready to embrace the future, whatever that may hold.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be in tech and retail, and who knows what amazing things are being developed right now, maybe even by our listeners.
Maybe. So until next time, keep exploring.